Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode number 57 of the Focus on Gaming podcast. I am Martin. All three of us this week.
Yeah.
It's nice to have us
Hello.
all three of us. How are you both?
I'm all good. I'm all good.
Good.
Been playing plenty.
That's good. I'm glad to hear that because
Actually, I have something to talk about.
exactly. Yeah, we all just said now we haven't played anything this week. It'd be a short podcast, wouldn't it? So
yeah, I don't really like video games. The end. Well, tune in next episode.
I just like talking to people.
The Focus on Porn podcast.
No.
Yeah, focus on.
There's a reason why I wear glasses. Did all that many years ago. God. Anyway.
That'll be our spin-off podcast, all right?
Well,
Maybe
we can have a whole
Friday
series,
night.
Focus on cooking podcast.
If we ever get a Patreon or whatever, we can add that as the...
Technically, we do. I have set one up, but there's only one thing on it that says buy us a coffee.
And what we didn't tell you, Martin, is when they subscribe, you've got to send them the link to your OnlyFans page. So.
Is it free to subscribers?
I don't get any subscribers, and it is free. So that's how I'm doing.
Oh, I'd subscribe for you if you want.
There's some horrible stuff on it.
Oh, well, you're just tempting me even more now, Martin. Oh, sorry. This isn't where I broadcast on sick and twisted stuff.
What have we been playing this week, then? Who wants to start?
We're getting back onto gaming now rather than Martin's OnlyFans.
Martin's blushing.
Well, I mean, I think, like you, Martin, I've been playing Mafia, and my God, I forgot how good that game is. The original, because it's a remake. It's a remake of a game. It's about 22 years old, I want to say, but they've remade it for the modern day. It was, I think, a year after GTA 3, and it was amazing when it came out. It came out on PC first, and I owned it on PC. And you had to stick to the speed limit. There was police that, if you ran into somebody like you do on GTA 3, that was it. You were wanted by the police and all that. So it was a very, very, very good attempt at ousting GTA as the 3D open world kind of thing. And unfortunately, it didn't take on, but it still had its fans. And then, they remade 1 and 2. And number 3 was only 6 years old, 7 years old. So I think they just gave that a 4K lick. But anyway, Mafia, it's on Game Pass.
August 2002 that originally came out.
Oh, look at that. Bang on then. 22 years ago. I bought it on PC because I had a PC that just about played it. I remember it being quite low frame rate. Had to turn
on the Xbox.
That version only came out a year or two later.
That's right, yeah.
And I didn't have an Xbox at that point. I just had a PC. It's fantastic. The story is basically Goodfellas. If you've seen Goodfellas, that's basically the story. But it's done really well. So Goodfellas is a great story. So
I think I have watched Goodfellas. Was he a taxi driver? Was he at the start?
He wasn't a taxi driver, but and it also was set in the 80s and 70s, 80s, and 90s, I think. It's Ray Liotta, and he
I've seen
goes up.
Yeah,
it's the one that's got Joe Pesci that's busted his balls, and Joe Pesci gets taken out in a plastic covered room in the end. But if you see Goodfellas, it's basically the same kind of story, just set in 1930s,
isn't it?
30s USA,
in New York.
Yes, so good.
Yeah, so I thought I'd played it, but I've been playing it, and I can't remember playing it when it originally came out, so it's all new to me at the moment. So I just did the mission, so I haven't done that much. I just completed the mission where you walk that Sarah back to her apartment, and you beat up a load of guys by her apartment, and then don't know what's going to happen next.
I haven't got that far in the remake. I haven't got that far.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I just did and then before that was the racing level, which was quite good. I enjoyed that.
The drive-ins, it's good, but obviously it's slower than your sort of GTA because the cars are slower.
This was a race with sports cars on it, so it was pretty quick, the race. But yeah, in general, driving it is
the traffic as well. The traffic don't beat around the bush. They'll just pull out in front of you.
No, they beep at you as well, don't they?
Yeah,
pull out in front of you and then beep at you.
If you hit somebody hard enough, that's it. They'll be just like, "Oh, police!" But most of the times, you can just hit somebody, and then as long as you don't hit a person, if you hit another car, you can just drive off, and the police will be like, "Yeah, we didn't find you." Although I think I have got an easy level.
I left it on, I think the regular or whatever that would be, because I think there's 2 higher than that, which was classic or something, and then that's where they say the police will come after you for sort of anything, basically. But
yeah, classic game. It's on Game Pass, and I think even if you're on PlayStation or PC, it's available quite cheaply. And I'd highly recommend the first one, and the second one's pretty good as well. And despite it getting middling reviews, the third one is good. It's just not. It's not GTA 5 good. That's the problem. Is it came out to big fanfare, and everyone was like, GTA 5 was probably better than this, and yeah, it was, but that doesn't mean Mafia 3 isn't a great game. But yeah, so that's mainly what I've been playing this week, as well as a bit of Crash Bandicoot.
I haven't played that yet. The newer one, anyway. Gonna play it soon.
It's not the new. It's the Insane
trilogy. Yeah.
So it's the first one.
Got it on PlayStation, that.
And they remade them, didn't they? It was quite a while ago. I think about 10 years ago, wasn't it, when they remastered them?
Yeah.
In that case, I have played them. I've played them on PlayStation, and it's a lot harder.
Yeah, Duncan. I think you're doing Crash Bandicoot 2, and I'm doing Crash Bandicoot 1. So we will have different. So
definitely my favorite.
The last one I just did was Road to Nowhere, and it's put me off doing the next level. So long.
I always struggled with and I don't remember which of the Bandicoot games it's on, but there was this kind of wall that you had to climb, and you had to balance on different things, and there was various obstacles that got in your way as you went up.
The vertical levels are really hard.
Oh,
really hard.
Yeah, I gave up after that point.
The road to nowhere, you're in, seems like the sky, and there's a bridge, and the bridge is pretty much broken. So you have to jump on certain planks, and some of them break as soon as you jump on them. So you got to be like really quick. And there's a goat that randomly starts running at you at some point through its head. And and then you get near the end, and then the bridge becomes all icy. So you're then having to you're sliding down. And you're trying to keep yourself up, but you can't jump straight away because of the goat coming at you. And then if you jump on the wrong platform, it is. Yeah, I would just say if anyone hasn't played it, then Google it or watch on YouTube because it is.
Don't actually play it.
That reminds me of that video of that little girl where she sees a goat out the window. Do you remember? And she's
yeah.
I won't swear, but yeah.
That's what I was like. I was like,
she says, "Golly gosh, that is a goat."
Yeah, in an English voice like that.
I have also actually been playing more of the Kunitsugami Path of the Goddess, but I won't go into that again because, my God, it's so good. Play it. If you can play it, play it. If you can't, buy it. Yeah, it's very, very good. It's getting really hard, though. Really hard. So I did say I wouldn't talk about it. I talked about it.
Yeah, don't talk about it. So I've been playing Hogwarts Legacy as a modern game. Quite enjoying it. Haven't got very far, mainly because I have no patience. But at least I'm honest. And then I found my charger for the PSP, the original, after our episode a couple of weeks back. So I picked out a load of games, which I'll quickly go through. So Virtual Tennis 3, which was amazing. Not as good as World Tour, though.
Yeah, but virtual tennis, they're pretty much all good, aren't they?
Yeah. Archer McLean's Mercury, which is a
classic
brilliant
game.
Yeah.
Classic game.
F1 Grand Prix, first one.
Mm.
Actually, really, really addictive.
Is that hard on the PlayStation Portable? I can imagine Formula One game being.
I don't know. You know me in racing games, but yeah, I suppose some people would find it hard.
Is it a simulation or arcade one?
But you can say it to both.
Oh.
But if you get the later games in the series on the PSP, they're harder than the first one. It is more arcadey on the first one.
Because let's face it, anybody who doesn't take it seriously, hello, all you do in Formula One games is turn off all the fouls and then crash into the people on the first corner, get into the lead, and then just, if anybody starts to go past you, whack into them.
Exactly. Then we've obviously got the classic Wipeout Pure, which is amazing.
Are any of these valuable?
I don't know.
Obviously, I know where you live, so
I've literally got hundreds of PSP games. I went on a thing of collecting PSP games at boot sales, and because no one wanted them, you could get them for like 20p, 50p. So
what's it? UMD, isn't it?
UMD, yes. You had a tiny little disc, very similar to mini disc, and for our video viewers, you can see that on the screen. And I think it contained 1 gig or 1.5 gig of data. But initially, the PSP function was restricted because they were worried about battery life. It was only when it got to Monster Hunter where the PSP, which I have been playing, where the PSP's full potential was unleashed by Sony. So that's when they increased the processing power through an update, so you could actually get the full graphical and processing strength. But which Monster Hunter is a phenomenal game. It really is, and graphically, it's amazing. So
I mean, I'm sort of doubtful whether they even would be valuable because unfortunately, you did have to go through and sell a lot of things, and the fact that you still got them tells me that they're ones that you probably couldn't sell.
Well, actually, I started collecting those after I sold the collection or the main collection, and
so possibly,
yeah,
you might have some gems in there that you don't know.
Yeah, I wouldn't sell them. I probably got more gems in the Wii U collection.
I mean, you have CDI and stuff like that, which
I have CDI. Yeah, I sold my 3DO, so kind of regret that.
Yeah. Then again, that could be worth £1 million nowadays. It would still be worth less than when it was available originally.
That's true. I think with inflation, it was like £1,600.
You had to sell your firstborn to get a 3DO.
Yeah.
And then it had like about 3 games that anybody that were home only. All the rest were just arcade games, really, weren't they?
Yeah, I mean the 3DO did have some amazing games. I mean,
some great games, but they were. Yeah. It was basically an arcade machine, wasn't it?
Yeah, essentially. Obviously, you had the Neo Geo AES, which was proper arcadey.
Your fighters.
That's it, Art of Fighters and stuff. But the 3DO was unique in the respect it really did take sort of Laserdisc game style graphics and put them into a modern day console that had some amazing features, and it could play videos with the video movies and stuff with the MPEG cartridge, and it had things like Muhammad Ali's boxing, Rogue Squadron, Star Wars, and many other things. And to be honest with you, it threw the PlayStation out the window in terms of graphical games. Road Rash on it was phenomenal, but
3DO and the Neo Geo were very much 2D graphics, though, weren't they?
The Neo Geo was.
They were very good at the sprites.
3D. Yeah, 3DO was 3D, but the Neo Geo was definitely 2D.
I'd hope there's some 3D in it if it's called a 3DO.
Money yeah, suppose really. Clues in the name, isn't it?
Yeah, the Atari Jaguar released around the same time. Now that predominantly was textured graphics and 2D stuff. Apart from
not a 64-bit,
because the not so 64-bit Atari Jaguar.
Was it called the Jaguar 64 or Atari 64 or something?
It
What
was
the
simply
title?
the Atari Jaguar, but they said it was the first ever 100.
64
Well, it was
bit,
a
is it?
64-bit,
64 bit.
but it wasn't. It had two separate chips, and they equated together to.
Oh, I see. There were
64-bit.
two 32 bits.
Yeah, but they didn't. One of the chips didn't do
Well,
anything.
32 plus 32 is 64. So,
Yeah, except one of the chips was basically the dyslexic cousin of the first because you couldn't actually use it for anything.
Well, then again, all you had to do was go, well, I've got two PlayStations. So 64-bit PlayStation.
Yeah, there's that. Wasn't the PlayStation 128-bit?
32.
No, it was the
original
PS2. Was I think PS2, PS2. They got rid of it when it got to 128-bit. I think everybody
Yeah.
went, this is a bit stupid.
I do miss that. I do miss.
I do.
It.
What would it be now? If it was like Moore's law and it doubles every time. So PlayStation 1 was 32, so 64 would be the PS2, and
The
then
PS2 is more than
28
60.
PS3.
The PS2 was more than 64 because
I think the PS2
strong,
was meant to be 128, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Or
because
that
it was
the
stronger than
Dreamcast?
the N64. I think Nintendo messed up the system by.
But it's kind of gone backwards now because they class if you look at it relative to the structure of how consoles were made, the PS5 is actually classed as a 64-bit machine, but the way they do the bit structure is vastly different to how it would have been. So the Dreamcast was 128-bit, PS2 was 128-bit,
Yeah, you're right.
PlayStation 1 was 32-bit, but it's changed. So the architecture around it.
But if it had just carried on, like doubling all the time, it would have been PS1 era would have been 32. PS2 would have been 64. PS3 would have been 128. PS4 would have been 256. So PS5 would be 512 bit. There you go. With the 512 bit generation. I'm sure it's not. So I'm not meaning that in a technical aspect, but yeah, there you go. The 512 bit generation.
64-bit times 86, 64 instructions. That CPU.
Oh, the x86 is basically saying it's a PC.
Also, someone leaked the Dolphin. The N64 was originally called was it the N64? No, the GameCube was originally going to be called the Dolphin, and someone leaked a console version of the Dolphin.
Is that why the emulation is called Dolphin? There's
I have no
emulation for GameCube, and it's called the Dolphin.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, the Wii emulator, and the Nintendo emulator. Not a week ago, rarest ever Nintendo console pictured properly for the first time. Is this the one that opens up?
Yeah.
Because I remember that when they were advertising and everything, it was advertised as this thing that opens up, and it was like, ooh, don't know what benefit that was, but.
Well, originally they were looking at whether it could they were going to look at having a DVD player in it, and it had various add-ons like the Game Boy Advance add-on and things like that. But the DVD version of the GameCube went into the Panasonic. I can't remember the full name of it, but there was a Panasonic Silver GameCube released, and it had a DVD player built in and radio, I think, as well.
Yes, I think I remember seeing that. I think. Maybe even might have been on when we interviewed about the curious video game machines.
Yes, it was mentioned on there.
It was mentioned, yes. But no, I can't remember why it was really cool that the demonstration one opened up. Might have been something to do with you could add things onto it or whatever it was. But it was almost like it just sort of rolled open, didn't it? Am I imagining this?
I remember there being add-ons, like you had like a base unit you could add on, then there was an internet add-on at the bottom for broadband, and then there was a screen and things like that, and a speaker pack. But I don't ever remember it opening up as such.
What, you rolled it out?
Yeah, I think you see, I think I'm going crazy now.
What material was it made out of? Like
It was before
pastry?
the GameCube came out, and they had like a. I'm sure I remember them opening it up. Oh, I see. I'm looking around for it now.
I can believe it opened up, but I just find it hard to believe that they rolled it out like it was a yoga mat, isn't it?
No, I don't mean like sort of like it was really thin, but I mean it sort of it opened up like one bit, another bit, and that was it.
Like a transformer.
I think. Yeah, almost like a transformer, but rubbish. No, if I'm completely, it's probably one of these what do you call it? Mandela effect.
No, now you're saying that, that's quite a good idea for a console. Imagine you could get a PlayStation 5 and just make it really small, and then when you wanted to play,
modular. If you could have a modular console, you can have like a base unit that is the basic thing that you have as the processor, and then you can have I want to have a higher frame rate, so you want to have an extra processing power, so maybe a processing pack, but then I want it to be ray tracing, so you have a ray tracing pack or something. You end up with like a humongous thing.
I'm just looking through some of the listings now. It must be an unreleased Nintendo console.
Oh, don't worry. I'd probably go mad. I am a bit mental, so in other news, what else have we got? We got Martin was saying there's Time Splitters is coming to PS Plus. The advertisement on various news articles, I think probably comes straight from Sony, was that 15 games were coming to PS Plus. I looked it up. 5 of them are all Sword Art Online. So if you don't like Sword Art Online, you're out of luck. But all 3 Time Splitters games coming to PlayStation Plus Premium only. But I mean, there was a time where you couldn't actually play these, and now they're all on PlayStation Plus Premium. So you both a fan of those games?
Back in the day, yeah.
Was there a game? Was it Homefront? Was it recently where they found that the entire Time Splitters game was on there for free? The game Homefront wasn't well received, but it was something like 2 years after it was released. Somebody found out that because you could play Time Splitters, but there was like 2 levels in it. And somebody found that there was a secret code you could enter, and the entire game was on it.
Oh, wow.
So
nice little Easter egg.
Yeah. So if you do want to play Time Splitters, or you see Time Splitters or Time Splitters 2, Homefront: The Reckoning, I think it is. You can get that for pennies, I think.
I like the game. Time Splitters, but I also like the multiplayer on the Time Splitters, where you could set it all up and you'd have the computer in there as well. So it's pretty.
Because it was a screen, like couch co-op or couch.
Yeah, so you could do that. The main game, you could do a co-op throughout the whole game.
Okay.
Which
I didn't have that many friends, so.
Which was did that, but then also if you wanted just to do like a free for all or whatever, or team deathmatch or something like that, you could set it up and you could say I want 16 computers on there. You set the difficulty and you go around, monkeys are running around shooting you and stuff like that, didn't they? But yeah, I can't remember which one there's one that I did play quite a bit. And I remember there was a mission where you happen to follow this girl and she can't see you. And then every now and then she would look back, and if you got too close, she would you would have to restart the level, and she got too far away, you would lose her. So it was like
escort missions. Ugh.
Yeah. And then, it was good. I liked it because you could just go back in time, wouldn't you, or go back in the future.
Yeah, they're classic games. Classic games. I think I owned the first one, which was on PS2, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know if it had couch PvP or couch co-op. I don't think it did. Maybe. Yeah. Well, it must have had
I think they all had.
couch PvP, but I don't know if it had couch co-op. I don't know. But I didn't have friends back in those days.
That's it. Mine's based. That was.
Oh, I did. It's just most of the time we were playing Tekken Tag Tournament on PS2.
Oh, so good.
Tekken Tag Tournament, and then Soul Calibur 2 as well.
Okay,
So good as well.
Incidentally, and to change the subject just very quickly, I think I found your machine, Duncan. So it was a concept.
I'm not going crazy.
You weren't going crazy, no. So it was pre Nintendo 64, and it was meant to be the last iteration of the Super Nintendo designs.
Okay.
So I'll read this to you. It was a concept that was shown off at a event thing, but never actually released. So it was an early design with a different printed circuit board, radically altered game packs. The super thin line version gave way to necessity, having a top-loading game pack and a crank. The lever had a top mechanism to load and unload game packs. And essentially, you'd add game packs to it to increase the power, but it's essentially it was a Super Nintendo.
Oh, so it's sort of like what I said, that you could add things to it and make it more powerful.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
did it look like? Does it look like a GameCube?
No, it looks like the Famicom Slim. But obviously, I've just sent the link on WhatsApp. But I think this is the only one I can find, so I'm going to assume is it.
Hang on, that's the. Hang on.
You need to scroll down to.
Scroll down. Yeah, it's got the CD NES.
Yeah, you need to scroll down to Evolution of the Super NES. It's like a purple grey looking machine.
Oh, blimey, no. God, no.
Not that one.
Evolution of the Super NES. No.
Oh,
No, this was. See, if anyone's listening and can believe me, I can't remember what it was. I'm sure it was just a GameCube that opened up. That was it. It was literally a GameCube. That's pretty cool, though. What you just sent me, it's like some weird futuristic thing, but from the 80s. Then you got the 32X, which nobody wanted. Anyway,
there was an accessory for the GameCube that opened up and expanded the original GameCube.
I probably just got some power bank thing that somebody's created.
Right, I'm going to send this to you and see if this is it. So, final test. Is this the one?
Well, yeah, while you send me that, what? Yeah,
there we go.
I'm on a different thing. Oh, he sent me. Oh my goodness gracious me, that's hideous. It's like the Game Boy with about 15 different add-ons. So it's got a screen add-on, speakers add-on, a cartridge add-on of some kind.
That's the Game Boy add-on.
Is that the Game Boy one, or is that?
Yeah.
That's the Game Boy add-on. And then, well, the looks of it, is that some kind of power bank thing?
That's speakers and a.
Oh, so that's the audio. That's all part of the audio one.
I think it allowed the microphone for like the karaoke add-on.
Imagine having all of that though for that tiny little screen.
That's the only one I can think of.
Well, I tell you what, I should try and research it for another episode. But I don't know what I'm talking about. But I just remember being like, ooh, and then it came out. And I remember going around to somebody's house who had one and went, so does it open up? And they went, no. Why would it open up? And me being all sort of, oh, well, yeah.
I'm leaving now.
Yeah, I don't know either.
I'm leaving now. I don't want to be your friend anymore.
So anyway, right. Let's go for some more news. That's some good news. If anybody likes Hi-Fi Rush and The Evil Within, Tango Gameworks, who was shut down, but they weren't shut down apparently by Microsoft, or they were, have been brought by Krafton, who makers of PUBG, and they bought the Hi-Fi Rush IP as well. So Hi-Fi Rush is not dead. Tango Gameworks is not dead. Literally, the people who were posting saying we're gone have posted saying we're back, baby. So yeah, there's some good news in a year of closures and everything, that somebody who was closed is not. So it has made Microsoft look bad. I would say it's made Microsoft look pretty crappy, because if a company feels that they are financially viable, then why didn't Microsoft? Simple as that. So, some good news. Anyway, and Switch 2, possibly a rumor that it has been delayed till not the beginning of 2025, till later in 2025. What they mean by later, don't know. Either of you tempted to pre-order?
I'll certainly get it. I'm not going to pre-order it, but I'll definitely get it.
Because, well, apparently, reason why there has been delays as well is because they are trying to get enough of stock that it will be pointless for the scalpers to buy up all the stocks, because they won't be able to buy up 1 million of them. But yeah, no. I think from rumours that are going around, I think it looks like it's going to be reasonably powerful, especially for Nintendo. And
one thing
there's going to be some kind of trick though for a Nintendo, isn't there?
Well, we know it's definitely backwards compatible.
Yes.
So because of
what is there going to be that Nintendo have done that's going to be like, oh wow, this is amazing?
I don't know.
Just a more powerful Switch, I imagine.
Yeah.
Only
which is backwards compatible. And I'm sure if they release it with a new Super Mario game, maybe a new Zelda game, a Metroid game or whatever, people will go out and buy it, won't they? Because
I think you're going to get the one problem of parents who don't know how video games work, and there will be people with original Switches who go out and buy the games that are Switch 2 only. They'll go, oh, this doesn't work. Yes, because it's for the Switch 2. So they're going to have something, whether it's... I mean, it could be as easy as make all the packets blue instead of red.
Hopefully they go back to having like the DVD or Blu-ray size packaging, because I really enjoyed that on the Wii U. I thought the Wii U has some of the best packaging ever on any Nintendo system.
So show us those PSP boxes again.
they're Switch size, aren't they? The PSP.
Yep.
Yeah. So I do think the Wii U was better though, in terms of
bigger is better.
Bigger is better. So I'm just looking at when former consoles have been released. So we're looking late next year. Most consoles in the last 3 generations have come out in November.
Yeah, I mean they want us originally. They wanted to sell it at Christmas 2024, so that they could get all the parents buying for the kids.
So we're looking at an October.
So do you think they'll delay it by a year? Do you think they'll be tempted with that?
Well, I don't think they'll want to release it in the summer or something, will they? When people just...
I mean, it's hard enough for us to come up with a subject in the summer, let alone let alone Nintendo.
I
But-
think we'll probably see an August, September announcement, and then it will be a November release, because then you're going to hit the Christmas market, and that just makes sense.
When
So-
was the Switch released? That is a long time between two consoles, isn't it? I don't think.
Yeah, definitely.
But
I
the
don't think
Switch
there's
is
been a
still
longer.
selling more than all the other machines. So it makes sense to hold off, really.
But,
Yeah, so you'll go with a year's delay.
I think we'll get an announcement late summer, early autumn for a
This
November
summer
release.
or next summer?
I think we'll see some information about the Switch 2 this year, without a doubt. There's no way they can warrant holding off on giving some information, but I think we'll get the full reveal June, July, August of next year, and then we'll get, and that will show off the games, everything else. But I think we'll have a lead up, and then it will be released for November of next year.
Okay, so one thing you got to remember is that you've probably got 100 developers at least, maybe indie developers are being given access as well to dev kits and whatnot. But let's say 100 developers who are all putting possibly 6, 7, 8 figures, maybe even 9 figures into a game, and they're being told by Nintendo, oh, end of 2024. Oh, actually, now it's going to be March 2024. Oh, actually, now we're going to be the end of 2025. They're all going to go, well, screw you. We're not releasing this on yours. We're going to release it early, and it'll be in an old game by the time you release. So yeah, I mean, summer is definitely a difficult time to release.
Yeah.
And releasing the Easter or something seems a bit weird as well. So yeah, it makes sense to release in Christmas, and that's why they wanted to release 2024. But I think a year is a long time to also lose all that money.
That's why I think we'll get that announcement this year, and then they'll do Nintendo Direct showing off some of the new games coming. And then we'll get a
And let's
first
face it, there'll be a lot of the same games coming as well.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, you're going to get like some kind of
Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, Zelda gets old. But I think you're going to get like some Mario Kart mashup between like the arcade GPs to some of the rehash stuff again. But problem is Nintendo's got themselves into a bit of a pickle with the Switch now, because they've really gone to town on add-ons and downloads and things like that. And like you said, where do they go? Where do they go from here? There's nothing else you can do. You've done it all. So
But then there wasn't that much difference between the PS4 and the PS5. It's just a more powerful machine, wasn't it? So
true.
if it's selling, then people will buy. Prediction. So at the moment, the best-selling console of all time is the PlayStation 2 with 155 million. Nintendo Switch is 143.42 million. So do you think the Switch will overtake it before the Switch 2?
I think the Switch
So it have to sell about 12 million in a year.
Yes, yeah. I think they will.
It's going to be the biggest selling console of all time, I think.
I mean, I can't understand it myself. Is it a great console? Yes, but their method of selling things and reselling. The only good thing they have going is I think in this country it's £20 a year for Nintendo Online. Other than that, the fact that you're paying for games that are 8 years old, 9 years old, or whatever, because they were on the Wii U, and you're paying full price for them.
I like it when they have their discount, because I did have a Switch, or I do and you go on their eShop and it's like summer sale, and you look at it, Tears of the Kingdom was £60, now £55 or something like that, for a game that was out about 2 years ago.
Breath of the Wild is still sold for the Switch at full price.
Super Mario Odyssey, when it came out when the Switch was released, if you would go buy it on their sort of shop, you'll probably still buy it paying like full price for it. I know you can go on eBay and get it cheaper or
Like 10 quid.
someone, but
Yeah, but at the end of the day, I remember the PlayStation. Actually, it was Sony that I think. I mean, home computers did do it first, I suppose, back in the 80s. But the one that I really remember was in terms of home console was Sony and their platinum hits. And once they became a platinum seller, roughly, because they made their money back. They reduced these games from £40 to £20, and that wasn't a a special offer kind of thing. This was they were released with platinum on the case kind of
I
thing,
remember those.
and you got it for £20.
Well, that
So
went
you
right.
got all the Tekkens, you got the your all the Ops, whatever. Yeah, anyway, but Metal Gear Solid even came to it, I think. And it was brilliant because you knew that a game that you hadn't played that you could get dirt cheap.
Yeah. But that went right back to the days of like Amstrad, Spectrums, everything. You had
Hit Squad.
Hit Squad, multi-packs, kicks. I mean, all of those provided that.
In fact, Ocean probably were one of the pioneers of that, weren't they?
Yeah, they were.
Because
it'd be nice to see it back.
games.
But I mean, let's face it, we only really have one game store in the high street, and that is gradually folding.
Dying.
Yeah. It's more a toy shop now than ever.
Yeah.
I mean, Smith's Toys do sell games, but
Are you talking about game?
Game in
the UK, GameStop in the US.
I was going to say CX, but then they don't sell new games, do they?
No, not yet.
I want to say in Australia, I think do they still have Electronics Boutique going? Do you remember that? That was a brand in this country that went tits up. I think Game Station bought them out, I think. And then Game Station were bought by Game.
Yes, yeah.
You get some games in Sports Direct now, don't you? Have you seen that? Yeah. Go to Sports Direct, there's a game in there. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, there's one in Lakeside. Yeah.
So I think because that's Mike Ashley. I think he must, I don't know if he owns Game or whatever.
Does he own Game?
He's under his umbrella. So you got House of Fraser, Game, and Sports Direct.
But that's the way retail's going now, isn't it? Having multiple stores under one roof and not having a shopping centre as such. It's like you have like a Carphone warehouse, you have or Tesco Mobile, whatever it is, and then you have an Argos in Sainsbury's and so on. So I think I don't see Game being around.
Saves them money, doesn't it? Because they got to rent one building rather than
I don't see Game being here much longer. A couple of years and it'll be gone.
People buy the brands, don't they, nowadays? They don't buy, when a shop in, when like 100 shops, a place that, or business that has 100 shops goes under, they don't buy those shops. They just buy the brand. And then, they just go, oh, we own that brand, so we'll just open a shop in our shop. So all it means is instead of having just a display, they'll actually have somebody going, hello, I'm a shop. But they're not. They're just the member of staff in a different uniform.
But there are rumours that HMV is going to start selling video games. So,
oh, really? Again? Because they were rubbish at it last time.
They were. Well, that's one of the rumours. And the other one is that WH Smith's is, because it does sell video games and it's partnered with Toys R Us, apparently that one might be going under. So
WH Smith's, how are they still going?
God knows.
The one in our I want to say town, but it's actually a city. The one in our city it's just empty. Yeah. You go in there because it's got the post office in.
It's not even worth going in there for that.
And there's about 3 people in there.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes you need a form or to send a parcel, but then again, even the services that they provide, you can get them to come to your home. So,
I suppose in a way, does that open the door for CEX to start selling new games as well as pre-owned?
No, digital all the way, baby.
I hope we don't lose a world where we don't have hard copies again. I like going in, looking in shops and looking at the
I know I am the
different boxes.
I do like hard copies. I always say I'm digital only, and I am a digital only. But yeah, I mean there is you do need hard copies, but I think eventually it'll be like vinyls are now. It'll be sort of look, this is a collector's edition, but you'll need an add-on to play it.
Maybe it's nostalgia, but I always have like fond memories of going in a game station or game and looking in their bargain buckets and the 2 for £20 and stuff like that. And
listen, Martin, there's
Going
nothing like in the 80s going into a game store and looking at cassettes and choosing it just because the graphic looks good on the front. So they were stacked up to the ceiling of cassettes, and now that was a proper game store.
Oh, yeah.
I like going in, like
literally
me and my friends, we used to go in with a backpack full of old games that we had completed, and then trade them in, and we'd get like 2 games out of it. We'd trade in about 20 and get
20 games and get 1 back, and still have to pay $3.99.
God, those are
massive receipt that was like the size of us with all
they find the scratch one
for 99, 50p for so
I do think, do you know what, I've collected lots of games over the years, you know this, but one thing I've never collected but I've always wanted to do it is collect big box PC games, because the artwork.
Oh, you see that when the game shops are around and you just had, it was almost like a competition, wasn't it, to have the biggest box?
Yeah.
But obviously it was a bigger cost to them, but it meant that they got more shelf space.
Yeah. And you got things like inside, like some of them did badges and they did posters, and then they had like some of the flying games had like, I don't know, like air charts in them and things.
Well, what was in the box in terms of, was there a game in the box?
Lot of air.
Yeah, it would be floppy. It would be like 6 floppy disks or 2 CD-ROMs or something like that. It was really basic. So they
also you would get in some games, like you said, flight sims. You would get 300-page instruction manuals.
Yeah, I actually think that's art now. I think that is something I'd love.
You get posters and all sorts. Yeah. A lot of Spectrum games.
Digital only. I remember getting a Grand Theft Auto game and opening up, and there was a big map inside of it.
Yeah,
like, things like that would just go. I used to like coming back when an N64 game and I'd open up the manual while I was in the car reading it up. And, you don't get manuals anymore. So
now it's just a PDF.
Yeah, no.
Have we just become just the grumpy old men?
What was your favourite art from a PC game then, Tom? If you're
oh God,
PC
loaded question.
Oh, there's so many. Diablo was, I mean, an amazing big box PC game. StarCraft. I'm trying to think. Battle for Middle Earth 2. There's so many, and I think that's what's missing now. It's all a bit generic, and there's so many.
Thing is, the graphics now, if you get a box, the graphics are what is on the box.
Yeah.
Whereas back in the day, the graphics were something else. You had to,
especially the 80s, wasn't it?
Yeah,
but it was like they just had to make the box look as amazing as possible. Then you get it, and
it would be nowhere near as good as the art on the box. Yes.
Do you remember
the graphics would be a surprise? So you'd be like, "Wow, those are really good! Oh my god, that would be amazing!"
Like some of Tom's t-shirts have got the old
loading screen
graphic, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I reckon
something I'm working on. Yeah, but there was a game called Simon the Sorcerer. Have you ever seen that?
Eric Idle.
Yeah, the box art for that was just incredible. So I think just things like that. Just
they were artists. It wasn't digital art or anything like that. It was somebody somewhere with a paintbrush or a pen or whatever had drawn that and painted that, and then they'd put it onto a box or on a poster, and
Yeah.
that was what you got.
Yeah.
See,
It's
the
the same with
only
the loading
PC
screens,
game.
isn't it? On a game. The loading screens were artwork in themselves.
Yeah, I remember
Yeah.
the Grand Theft Auto loading screens, like the
with
one that-
G5, where was it
Yeah.
Lindsay Lohan tried to sue them for the image that was similar to her. and it was. I don't know why she lost actually, but it wasn't exactly a negative picture.
There was Metal Gear Solid on the PlayStation 3, and you had like the loading screen where the main character was smoking a cigarette, and it went on for ages. And it was just graphically, it was just amazing. But it did go on for a long time and almost got a bit boring in the end, but it was really cool.
We don't really have loads anymore, do we? So there's no point for loading screens.
No.
Do you remember? I mean, you had lots of demonstration things. I mean, there was things like PlayStation 1 had I was on the demo disc, the dinosaur, the T-Rex.
Yeah.
The PlayStation 2 had that man's head, and it almost looked like, what's his name, Brian from Tekken. But it was an old man, and even by nowadays standards, it was probably very good. It was just not very relevant to how games actually looked because it was just a head. But yeah, those were absolutely amazing as well. But they weren't representative of the end product.
Well, I suppose that brings on to things like when you get a demo disc on a magazine or inside the box of the PlayStation 2, and it would have unfinished games. Like you had one that had Crash Bandicoot on it, and it was a PlayStation demo disc called Get in the Zone, and it had Bandicoot, Spyro the Dragon, if I remember right, and Spider-Man, and and some of them were unfinished. They weren't fully the ones that were released on the games. But I mean, you could buy magazines back in the day, and you get like 4 games on them that you never saw the light of day. You only had them on
the demo disc. I'm just looking at it. I was sure there was a demo disc that was really valuable. But I'm just looking the demo disc 1 that you got with the PlayStation. You could get for £8, £9. In fact, there's one version here, demo 1 version 5, $3.99 on eBay, free shipping. There you go. Then again, there's probably somebody's copied it and printed a piece of paper to cover the disc in it.
I've got some pre-release PlayStation 3 game that Sony sent me. So back in the day, to give you some context, I had a really good relationship with Sony Entertainment for the PlayStation brand. So they sent me and a friend a PlayStation 3 at a reduced price, and they included, unbeknown to me, about 12 games.
Nice.
And they were the full games, and I had to review the games, which I did. And but some of the stuff that was on there was never released. So I've kept them because they're unique, they're rare, and probably at some stage in the future will be worth some money. Not that I'd ever sell them, but it's kind of nice to have them, So,
yeah, I mean, I remember playing games that would be like, "This is out next year." You'd be like, "Oh, okay," and it would never come out. Never.
What's this one? Shock Your System, the PlayStation demo disc, and it had 14 playable demos. Demo disc loaded with 14 playable demos, including what looks like Gran Turismo on it.
Oh, Gran Turismo! I remember that demo disc because I played that one to death with my friends.
Gran Turismo.
When it came out, oh my god!
Oh, here we go. I found the listing of it. So it's got Tiny Tank, Jamalami, Gran Turismo 2, Ape Escape, Crash
Escape,
Team
that was a
Racing.
great game. First game that required the dual analog sticks.
You ever played Ape Escape on the PlayStation Portable? I had that on the PlayStation Portable. That was,
Yeah.
I think it was the 8. There was like games on it, mini games on it. There was like the 1 second sprint, and you had to like time it perfectly.
Oh,
Yeah, that
Oh.
was.
Ape Escape, PSP.
Cool Borders 4. Oh, what a game.
Images. Ape Escape, PSP. Ape Escape P. Or Ape Academy.
Ape Academy, that's what I had. Yeah, that's the one with the mini games on it, which
Some of these demo discs are like £60.
Yeah. I'm sure I've seen quite a few that are yeah, like you said, they've got something on them. Yeah, whether it's got a part of a game that's misspelt or is completely different to how it came out, or whether it's got a game that wasn't available in the end, and that kind of thing. Some of them even had full games on it, I think, if I remember rightly.
they don't really do demos anymore, do they? They do like
No, I mean Steam has their demo.
People to buy them now, don't they?
Yeah, I mean, Steam has demo like festivals kind of thing, where a lot of games do, and I think there has been a resurgence, but only for PC recently.
The point of demos was try the game, and then if you liked it, you'd go and buy like the proper game. But nowadays, they just see they expect new God of War game, people buy it because they like God of War, whatever. Or,
and things like Metal Gear Solid. There was a demo of that, and the reason why I think it became such a massive success, I mean, it was a very good game, was because it had a demo. And I played that demo. Oh God, I lost count of how many times. It was such a good demo, and the full game was absolutely amazing. But yeah, I mean, recently I played. What have I played? Odada, I think. Odada, I think it's on Steam. It's like a music creation thing, but with a train. If that makes sense. It doesn't. Yeah, it's weird. It's like a toy. It's like a toy game where you have toys to create music with a train. There's also a game called Just Crow Things, which is basically a cross between Big City Little Kitty and Untitled Goose Game. So good. Yeah, looks good. Just Crow Things. It's actually come out today, so you can buy it today. It's about £15 on Steam, so it's probably £15 on consoles. I want to say it's on PlayStation. Don't quote me on that though. But yeah, so my goodness, we were going to talk about building games today, weren't we? We did promise that last week.
we're going to have to promise it for next week.
For next episode,
for episode
58.
For almost an hour. If we start to speak about building things, it's going to be a 2-hour podcast, isn't it?
Yeah, indeed. And somebody has to edit this podcast and upload it. Hello. So I don't even know what we were talking about, really. What were we talking about?
Somehow we got onto box art and then demos, and then we started.
Demos and discs.
I think we spoke about hard copies and things, and then that took us down a nostalgia.
I think we just basically just proved that we're all gaming dads.
We are.
We're all old gaming dads.
Back in my day,
you're old.
You always look back on things. People will be doing in 20 years' time. We'll be going on about how great the PS5 and the Xbox Series, and can you remember when you had this? And
oh God, do you remember
20? I say 20 years.
Do you remember the last Xbox hardware? Well,
yeah.
Well, I mean, we could go back to the news. I mean, there was Valve have announced that they're supporting SteamOS on the ROG Ally. So Yeah, so you'll be able to install SteamOS on the Rock Ally, which is good because you'll be able to get the more console experience. Microsoft, despite supporting Valve on their thing, are probably not particularly liking that because it means that less people will be using the Windows Store, so you won't be able to do as much. So they've upped their support for the handheld for handheld options on the ROG Ally. But yeah, no, that's the one. We talked about Tango Game Works, haven't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're forgetting what we spoke about now.
Oh yeah,
I'm still caught up in demo discs.
Don't know. Yeah, I mean, you can't beat a good demo disc when it, especially when it's a game that isn't out for. Yeah, you knew that there was a game that was coming out in 6 months' time. You're like, I get to play that game now.
But I used to like the demo disc where there would be 6 different demos on it or something like that. You get it from a magazine, and then
You felt special, didn't you? Because you were playing them, even though a million other people were playing them. You were like, I played this game early. Yay!
I remember getting Amstrad Action back in the day, and it would have a cassette on the front, and on that cassette would be 12 games, and one of them was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the arcade, the coin-op.
What, a full game?
No, it had the first 2 levels.
Oh, okay.
but that was enough for me to go, wow. And it was a really good version.
Yeah.
So, of course, I loved it. I've still got it to this day. And I never ever found the game until about 2 years ago. And I found the game on the Amstrad. And initially I found the French version. And then I found the English version. And the only way you can load it is with this code list that comes in the game box, because it's some security feature. And because when I had the French version, it didn't come with the box. So I had to download that off the internet. A week later, I get the English version. So, but all thanks to that thing back in 1989, probably 1990.
Anyway, your Sinclair, I used to read. Did they have a tape on the front? I don't know. I used to read. There was 2 Spectrum One magazines I used to read, and I think that when you had a demo disc as well, it wasn't just the demos. You'd also have the pokes that you used to be able to load up. So it's basically like an early version of the Game Genie. And you'd put the tape in, you'd load up the poke, and then you'd load up the actual game, and it would load up the actual game with infinite lives or with all everything unlocked. And it was so satisfying when it worked, but it was quite often quite dodgy as to whether they'd actually work. A lot of the time you'd be like, it's loading, and then you'd be sat there for 5 minutes, and then it'd go failed.
Not as bad as typing in all the blooming code out of a Spectrum or an Amstrad magazine, and then they've misprinted it and missed off one bit, and you spent 2 hours typing in the bloody code, and the game of Pontoon didn't work.
You'd have something and it would be like, I'm sure I put like a speech marks at the beginning of this line, but there's no speech marks at the end of the line. It's with that. I'm not a programmer, so I'll just trust them. And then you'd be like, I wish I'd done that. Now I can't. There's 1,000 lines of code. I'm not going through all that to find out where that was. Or you press return
by accident, and it deletes the whole damn thing.
Goes, that doesn't work. I'll just get rid of it for you.
Yeah. Or you accidentally nudge the Amstrad keyboard and it cuts off.
Oh, well, that was just crappy Amstrad, really, though, wasn't it?
Cheap ass connections. Yeah.
Blame Alan Sugar.
I didn't do anything wrong.
You're fired.
Yeah.
Oh, God, it's scary to think that he's our Donald Trump.
I'd rather him than Donald Trump.
I did. Yeah. I would rather him than Donald Trump.
Mm.
So
Sorry, American listeners.
that
with
was-
Trump
if,
fans.
if we did lose any American listeners, oh, trust me, the amount of people that we get other gaming dads who I won't go into too much. Who when we say, oh no, you can't really say that kind of thing around it. Oh, I thought this was free speech.
No.
It is.
Not
It
when you
is.
mention Trump.
You are free to talk about that somewhere else.
Yeah, people don't understand free speech and then consequences.
Yes,
But
free
also,
speech
no
does
one's
not
gonna
mean
stop
freedom from consequences.
Was there like a comedian that the day after he had he nearly got assassinated went, "Next time, don't miss"? Or
Oh
something?
no, that was Kyle from
Tenacious D.
Tenacious
was
D.
it? Yeah.
And what it was,
Disbanded
and basically, Jack Black's gone. Oh yeah, all that was a great and everything. So of course, all the right wingers have jumped on this, that, and the other. So whatever. It's shit show. I think is the term. Anyway, enough. We don't want to talk about American.
Let's not talk about
politics.
politics.
Not American politics on this. We just had an okay turnout in the UK. So
Yeah.
you don't. Yeah, there's a lot of Americans don't like that.
And they're doing well in government.
They're doing all right. I mean, there's nothing massively wrong so far.
They've only been in for about a month. So give them a chance.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I think a lot of this. I mean, the Conservatives were still
look at how much. 14 years of Conservatives have.
They were still blaming Labour for right up to the end for the what was going wrong. So
Anyway, we digress. Let's get back to talking about porn. So games. Sorry.
it all leads back to porn.
All leads back to video games.
The internet is for porn.
So if we're not going to talk about building games, which will be episode 58 coming next Monday, whenever you're listening to this. So hang on, 15th. We're recording this on the 15th, so it'll be the 26th of August, episode 2024. Blimey, will be
bank
episode
holiday
58.
It's a bank
Is
holiday.
that a bank holiday? Oh, okay. Oh, good
That's
job.
Monday.
We don't actually record on that day. No. Anything else you wanted to talk about? Because we've sort of gone off so much of a tangent that we
That's the norm, isn't it?
I mean, look, on our video, I got Minecraft all loaded up.
Let's talk about Minecraft.
It's got a bit confusing now. It's all got a bit.
What, Minecraft?
It's got too complex. I think is what I'm trying to say.
My son spends hours downloading stuff on his Steam Deck to play this mod and that mod.
Oh, it's playing on the Steam Deck's a pain in the backside. They just need to make a Linux version of Bedrock. Bedrock's just so much easier. I mean, Java's great because you've got mods for free. But I play with my son. I was playing earlier today. He's actually started with his cousins a survival mode at 6.
Oh.
A survival world. So and although I did watch them playing the other yesterday, actually, where there was, I'm just going to teleport. No, you're not. and he's got to get used to the fact that he can't do all that kind of thing. But no, I mean, I've got to the point now where I am asking them what certain things do because there's so much new stuff.
Definitely.
That I don't know what it does. That heart of the sea. There's a thing called the heart of the sea.
What's that?
I still don't know.
my two are on. They've got these two different things they're playing. So one is like this server where they have to build a base, and then these big bears come along and attack them. And if you're not you
Are
know, these
they
red squirrels.
piglins?
Oh, I don't know. And then you can earn flight time, but you only get a certain amount of flight time, and then you have to buy these special coins to get more flight time.
Oh, is this on a survey? Yeah, like a
Yeah, you can
modded
raid
thing.
villages, but if someone's password protected their village, you can't raid it. And but then the other one
Oh,
he's got is fantastic. So my son has downloaded this horror mod of Minecraft. So the zombies have these bright eyes that stare at you, and they don't come and attack you straight away. They just stare at you from a distance. You look away, and then they get closer. And then and then there's
oh,
this
so it's a
other,
bit like Blink, Doctor Who
yeah,
Blink.
and then there's this other creature that sort of waves these big arms at you and chases you everywhere, and it's freaking scary. I feel like you should play it, Duncan.
No. The scariest thing I've ever played, Left 4 Dead 2, yeah, which in itself is not a scary game, with Teletubbies. Oh my god, it's just the most horrific thing you will ever play in your life. Mortuary Assistant has nothing on it. And
Oh,
I am
really?
actually serious in this. You just got, you're standing there and you're like, yeah, I'm going to shoot all these. And all you hear is, uh-oh, 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 uh-oh. And then there's just hundreds of the bloody things going, uh-oh. And there's, I just was almost in a corner, like fetal position, rocking after playing that.
Oh, bless you.
Yeah, it was not a great choice by me.
Thank God that's not me.
But yeah. If you want a quite horrific thing, look on Left 4 Dead and one of the mods to change all the zombies into Teletubbies, and it's not scary. It's just you're just sitting there like, oh god. Oh god, it's and then it's just ow, and it gradually builds up. It just horrific.
Sounds absolutely horrific. And the Teletubbies look really like quite scary looking.
Yeah. They have like blood eyes kind of thing. Oh yeah, sort of blood.
Oh, I feel that's a
coming out
bit
their
wrong.
eyes.
I feel it's a bit wrong.
But it's not the visual. It's the just you're stood there like because most of the time you might hear a kind of thing. You're like yeah the zombies are coming kind of thing, and yeah just when you hear there's nothing. You think everything's safe. You just hear a and then you're like where was that? and then suddenly there's just flipping hundreds of them. Yeah, there are a lot of things on Steam Workshop for Left 4 Dead 2 that are brilliant. So I'd highly recommend research and looking around that workshop and yeah, brilliant. Anyway, back to Minecraft.
Yeah.
I have a world with a friend that we've got about 300 hours in, where we've set up a home and base, and in fact multiple bases and a train track between them so you can travel between them and all this kind of stuff. And it's great because it's from about the 1.14 Minecraft, and obviously since then a lot of things have been updated. And yeah, now I'm playing with my stepson or my boy who's 6 years old, and they're teaching me how to play because I'm like, what does this do? What does this do? Like today, I was saying, what does copper do? And they went, oh, that doesn't really do much. Oh, but it does do whatever, and it goes in one ear and out the other. So if you do have a world that you created 3 years ago or something, stick with that because they're a lot simpler.
Yeah. I just put blocks down when they play Bed Wars. I love playing Bed Wars. Don't know if you ever played that. So you have to hide your bed.
That's when you have a little, you have islands or something, don't you?
Well, our game is you set your bed up. You all go off and make your bases,
Mhm.
and you have like 12 minutes to make a base and hide your bed within the base. You can't put it underground. Then you set your location for the bed, and then they then go to your base and try and destroy your base to find your bed to knock you out of the game. So of course you just use the appropriate block that can't be destroyed, and yeah, it's good fun. So
But if you use the block that can't be destroyed, then how can they? Yeah, yeah, you
because I
can surround
cheat,
it by bedrock.
yeah, because I cheat. That's why.
You dirty cheat.
And I always make sure as we go on creative initially that I get loads of TNT and flint.
No, all you have to do is do this ornate base and everything, and actually just around the corner,
For the
just
bed.
put some dirt down and
Yeah.
put it just in a random place around the corner, kind of thing, so nobody finds it. They're
Yeah.
like, "Where is it? I destroyed half of his base." And you're like, "Have you not found it yet?" Oh, it's right in the center of that. Yeah.
Did you ever have Minecraft on the Wii U, mine?
No, I've never played Minecraft, so
Come on, dude. Let's make this happen.
You know your
Right.
kids will want to play it.
well, we'll see. We'll see.
You've got to know the basics. You've got to know it.
Maybe we need to focus on gaming Minecraft server and start building something together.
Well, I mean, you're welcome to join my games. Yeah, as long as you don't. Oh, yeah, I did have somebody. It was somebody who I added as a friend many years ago, and I was playing about 4 months ago with my boy. Well, I wasn't playing with him. I was in the kitchen or something, and he came in and said, "This fire in my world, and I don't know why." And I came in, and it said, "Yeah," and this person had joined and started setting fire to it. So I sent the message saying, "Well done, you. You know, you burnt stuff that a 5-year-old's playing. Well done, really good."
I have a
And
rant,
so,
by the
well,
way.
he came back in a week later and started doing the same crap again. So I was
Oh,
like, "All right, yep,
off you
blocked,"
go.
and yeah, reported.
Damn right. I have a rant that I'd like to get out before the end of the podcast. So,
Go ahead, because it's an hour and 20 minutes.
so this is about online safety in games, okay, and on the internet. So the other day, my kid tells me he downloaded a certain app. Okay, now I am very savvy on, Family Link app, blocking things, times, everything else, location tracking. And he says, "Oh, I've been in touch with a friend of mine I used to go to primary school with, who's moved to America, and her parents died in a car accident." Woo-woo. So, of course, I won't talk about what said app this is, but it is related to our show. And I went on there and read some of the discussion. And was a male who was pretending to be a female and had asked him for nude images and money, everything else. So, listeners out there, keep your kids safe on games. Do check what they're doing. Do check what they're talking, who they're talking to.
Yeah, it's that 90% of the time your parental controls will be enough, but you have got to keep just your toes in
your
there to
hands
make
and stuff in. Yeah. Well, I having some of the knowledge I did, so I tracked this person. I tracked them down to where they live in America. I tracked them down to pretty much their doorstep. I didn't go out there and kick the crap out of him, although I'd like to. But I did track him down to his doorstep using his IP. I tracked his mobile phone and found out what phone he uses and various other things. So,
okay.
yep. And then messaged him all that information to say, don't ever do that again. And by the way, I've reported you to the authorities. Wait for a tap on your door. So most people don't have that knowledge to do that stuff. But use the Google Family Link app. Use whatever parental features you can get on your game, because things like Roblox, Fortnite.
And I think the best one is to tell your kids that what is suitable and what isn't. And do you know what? It's that, yeah, you're going to get told off if you've been doing things you shouldn't. But do you know what? that's better than being, broadcast online nude and
Exactly.
going to, somebody going to prison or, whatever. All sorts of police involvement.
Yeah.
But yeah, so communication's key. And
Communication.
your kid came to you and went, this is a bit weird, Dad.
Unfortunately, my kid didn't. He thought it was normal, and it was one of his friends.
All right then, I'll take it back.
In fact, he even deleted the said thing, so I couldn't look at the messages. But I actually think it was because he did know that what was going on had gone too far, and he luckily hadn't sent anything to them. But yeah, it was not great. So
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, scammers are out there. On the gaming dads group, we have recently the most recent scam that we've had to deal with is the one where people are posting pictures of the PlayStation Portal and posting a picture of two of them and then saying, "Oh, I got two of these for $150." And of course, people are like, "Ooh, where'd you?" The first one we allowed, and people were like, "Oh, where'd you get this from?" And it was like, "That's not a proper website. The way you're, no." And luckily, obviously, a few of the GDs were very sort of like, "Yeah, no," and reported it. So we got rid of it. And then since then, we've had at least two more who have come in and gone, "Oh, look, tried to post. I've got a really cheap PlayStation Portal with my son." It's like, wow, a lot of these men are getting a cheap PlayStation Portal. And it just, the thing is, these are ones where people are typing this out. They're not. It's not a bot thing anymore. You've got people somewhere typing this out. Hey, gaming, and they're like, "Oh, gaming dads, look at what I did." We're all gaming dads together, and all this kind of thing. So they're trying their best.
Yeah.
And if they'll do that to get one person out of a million to do it, to get basically sexy time with children, they're gonna try their best.
Yeah.
So just keep your
There are some twisted people out there.
keep your toes in there. But the main thing, like you said, get a family link.
Yeah.
Xbox parental controls, PlayStation parental controls, Roblox has individual games have parental controls, so every level adds some kind of protection.
Yeah.
But generally, if they're kids, don't let them chat online. Don't let them play
Keep them
whatever
off
they
social
want
media.
online.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kids don't need social media until they're 18 to keep them off it. But anyway, that was my rant, and I felt like it might be able to help someone else out, knowing that even people like us that talk about this stuff and every week fall into those situations.
Yeah. It's there you go.
Yeah.
Indeed. Well, on that note, I
Martin's
think
gonna
on a
play
serious
Minecraft.
on a serious note, yeah. I think ending on a serious note is good. So next episode 58.
Martin's going to tell
Hopefully,
us all about playing Minecraft.
we might talk about building games. So it's not just Minecraft, is it? It's Dungeon Keeper. We're talking about that. Sim City. All the sim games by Maxis. Many games. We might actually talk about them next episode.
Yeah, we will.
We might.
We'll do this.
We'll definitely do it.
You know what will happen? They'll announce the Switch 2, and we won't play. We won't chat about it.
Gits. Gits will bloody do that, won't they? Right.
Yeah.
Anyway, so like and subscribe and all that malarkey. Focusongaming.co.uk. Patreon, I think we are just Focus on Gaming. As I said, there is just you literally can just buy us a coffee kind of thing. So buy us a coffee if you want. There you go.
And if you are a developer who's got any games or products, a game related coming out and want to come on the show, get in contact via the website.
Indeed. Focusongaming.co.uk. It's got all our connections on it. Facebook, Instagram, all that kind of thing.
OnlyFans.
If we don't get back to you, try another one because we might not contact you on that. But I think I believe it's contact at, or you can just add names basically. Tom at focusongaming.co.uk, Martin at focusongaming.co.uk, and Duncan at focusongaming.co.uk, and you will send us an email.
Or contact us through Facebook. So
yeah,
Martin, say something really inspirational to finish.
Bye. I do.